Hello, my lovelies. Welcome back to game number 3 between SK Gaming and Mousesports. That's probably the strangest introduction I ever
Yeah.
gave. But either way, we are going to be live very shortly in the loading screen. As you can see, lots and lots of skins. Gatekeeper Galio, haven't seen that in quite some time on Ocelot. And once again, pretty much deja vu. Svenskeren on Shen. And I'm just wondering if he is going to be able to rinse and repeat from that first game where he was so effective in the jungles.
Yeah, and I expect actually this time they're running with a different comp on Mouse. They have the same as last game, so yeah, it's like both of the winning comps against each other once again. But so much AOE from SK, it's going to be insane. But as we were saying in Champions Select, if Morgana can get that ultimate down and shut them out, then that might be the turning point.
Yeah, and the scary thing as well, it's not just AoE damage, it's a lot of AoE CC on top of that. I looked around taunts, Malphite's going to knock everyone in the air, Crescendo's going to make everyone have a nice little dance off, and then you've also got Shen jumping in with the taunt. And on top of that, you've got bullet time. So there's just so much. But again, we said this before, it's all about execution, execution, execution. Can you get the positioning down? Can you bait the opposition team? Can you get those perfect kind of engages from the likes of a Malphite? Or is it all going to fall flat? That's what's going to be answered in the upcoming 30 to 40 minutes you have to feel. The question on my mind right now is, are we going to see any early first bloods kicking off? Kevin could be finding himself in a really difficult situation. Momo can open up here with the dark binding. Is she going to do anything here? Morgana, she's going to be jumping in right now. The flash comes out from Kennen and the Deadron twisted advance. Carbon copy almost. Different position though to when you saw Nif getting taken out the equation early on. And again, it's going to be Dedron who manages to land the last hit. Sorry, not Dedron, Prothana on Kale. So really similar to what happened in game number 2.
Very similar, and Grafana with first blood is going to be horrible for top lane. This is what we were talking about last game. It was horrible for Yorick, and Yorick. So now that she's against Youngbuck on Malphite, I mean, yes, okay, it's anti-AD, and Grafana will be building AD this game, but even so, that's really going to hit Malphite hard early game. Yeah, so Svenskaren's going to really have to try and help him out up at top, because it's going to be a rough ride, put it like that.
Definitely the case, 100%. So Prothana looking good. Now maybe SK are going to go ahead and retaliate. They know that Kale is at top lane. They're pretty sure of that. They know the Wolves are going down. Wolves, of course, respawn at 140. Blue 155. So they have this small window of opportunity to try and jump on Maokai. Here comes Moma around the corner, wrong place at the wrong time. Will flash to the wall, but Shen's in hot pursuit there. Ignite is going down. Do they have enough damage? Do they have the abilities coming off cooldown quick enough to pick up this kill? The Resolute Smite will land from Galio, but it's not going to be enough damage overall. And Ocelot taking a fair amount in retaliation for his troubles. Will they try and steal this blue, though? Looks to be the case. Candy Pana's coming around from the side. And we could be seeing another kill going down. In fact, SK look to be deciding not to bother too much. Svenskeren was caught from a dark binding though. Here comes the Vorpal Blade from Shen. Candy Pana taking some damage in the forefront. Here comes the re-engage from the twisted advance, and Morgana picks up the kill onto Shen. Svenskeren waiting around for way too long. Nif is going to get sniped from Ezreal, who actually flashed in there. Now going to be in hot pursuit of Ocelot and also Kevin. And that was a complete train wreck from SK Gaming, 3-0 down. What just happened?
I don't know, man. That was crazy. It was just a great flash from Moma. They burnt a lot of summoners, and wow, pretty much all the summons are down from SK right now. And pretty much the same on both teams. Absolutely crazy. But Moma got that first blood. Well, one of the first bloods, 3 of them, and look at the damage coming out already, and has that blue buff. Dedron doesn't have it, which is kind of big hit. But then again, they're 3 kills ahead this early into the game. Pretty crazy.
You couldn't ask for a much better start than that. And on top of that, the woes for Ocelot continue because Moma has blue buff in mid. Morgana with blue buff in mid at level 2 is going to be such a pain in the neck to deal with. She's going to be able to push and farm all day long. And it's going to be so difficult to push Moma back here. But either way, Svenskeren, you have to feel, is going to have to be fairly active in the jungle. Land those ganks when they count. Dedron is flashing up red. Just took the walls. Top lane, Youngbuck and Prothana are kind of in a world of their own right about now. Just going to be farming, and more farm along the lines of bot lane too. So again, all out action at the very beginning, heavily in favour of Mouse. They were 1-0 down in this best of 3, but are now looking like they have the advantage to take this one home.
Well, the answer is, or the question is, can they snowball this one out? And if last game is any indication, yes, they can. So we'll just have to wait and see. But that's a massive advantage this early on. It's almost 2k, and right now every lane should be winning. It's just up to Shen whether he can tip the balance in the scales, but it's very difficult when you have Maokai, the ganking jungler, on the enemy team. He'll be picking up this red buff, might be getting level 3 from that as well. Yep.
Yes, he will. Svenskeren did come towards top lane, but Kale, almost reading his mind, popped down the ward in Tribush and did see Shen darting up towards top. Shen looks like he may actually taunt through Baron Pit here towards red buff. He's just slightly off timer. Had he been a second or two quicker, could potentially have stole that. In the meantime, though, Prothana's going to come around with the Q, the Reckoning, going to try and pop down some damage on towards Svenskeren. Dedrin was also coming around the corner, and Svenskeren will just taunt away to safety. So again, you have to feel kind of sorry for Svenskeren. He's been in the right place, but just a couple seconds behind Dedrin, who's now coming towards top lane. This could be a gank onto Youngbuck. It's definitely going to be the case. Maokai has the red buff as well. It's going to be difficult for Youngbuck to escape. He does have the flash off cooldown. You have to feel that's going to be what's going to save him here. He's taking a lot of damage in the process, though, and actually does manage to escape without using flash. So well played to him.
Yeah, Dedron was starting to run out of mana as well, so was Profana. He knew he didn't need to burst flash, and that was very well played. He didn't just panic, and that's going to allow him to stay in lane, basically, against Kale. If you lose a flash against an aggressive lane like that, then you're going to lose out on a lot of farm. But they know he's got flash up, and that's a lot of kill potential and escape potential. It's kind of vital for him at this stage to keep that one up. Just the threat of it is massive. It's the same with like burst casters. You need enough mana to say, hey, I can burst you down from this health, and the enemy should know exactly how much that's going to be at this level of play. So it's just a fear factor, basically, and that's what he needs.
Yeah, it's almost like psychological warfare. You want somebody to feel like they cannot stand toe-to-toe with you. Now, Malphite at top lane is going to be pushing back. Kale went back, bought up a Heart of Gold, of course a gold per 10 item. Gold's going to slowly but gradually build up for him. Meantime, at bot lane, Kevin spamming those impure shots on towards Candy Panda. As I said before, Soraka, if she did heal at that stage, would be healing for a significantly lower amount. So, again, Misfortune is a strong laner against Soraka. But you have to feel the later this game goes on, it's going to be more in those team fights where she utilises better with the rest of her AoE CC based lineup.
If you take a look at the lineups and all of the compositions, then basically Malz has this late game scaling team once again where when it hits late game they'll probably win because they have 2 AD carries, they have them peaking at late game. Though SK have a really strong mid game team, so they're not out of it yet. However, because they got 3 kills at the very start, that allows them to hit late game earlier with those carries. So it's all about whether SK can utilize their composition at the window of opportunity that's going to be very, very slim.
So, let's have a quick look at some of the CS here. 7 minutes 20, in fact, I thought here comes Unstoppable Force from Malphite on towards Prothana at top lane, but nowhere near enough damage to explode Kale. Also, nowhere near enough mana either. Here comes Maokai, realizing that the Unstoppable Force is off cooldown. He's going to take this moment to strike. However, Flash is still available for Youngbuck. Here comes a Twisted Advance. Ignite's been popped as well. Surely he's going to flash the wall. Dedron's right behind him with the sapling as well. And Kale also went through the flash to ensure that kill was theirs. So 4-0. And I can't help but feel that if Malphite hadn't have popped his ulti just before harass Prothana, he probably would have got away safely there.
For sure, and I'm not really sure what he was trying because he wasn't going to kill Profana, it's Kale, and she has her ultimate as well, you have to remember, which hasn't even been popped. It was a very weird initiate, which ultimately cost him his death. Ultimately, that's terrible. But,
oh, I see what you did there.
The puns, they're happening already.
If they're not intentional, it's okay.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think it was intentional, so we'll let you off. But blue is going to be going down to Momat, so that's going to be second blue of the game. Yes, he did get the first in that really strange opening 2 to 3 minutes where SK Gaming went 3-0 down. Kind of a tug of war on blue buff, which did not go their way at the end of the day. But Misfortune and Sona have both gone back to spawn. Misfortune picking up 3 Dawn's Blades. That's not something you'd see every day from an AD carry. And Ezreal on the other side, very similar build for Candy Panda, is going to go for that Phage first and a Dawn's Blade alongside the Boots of Speed. Here comes Dedrin once again. In fact, here comes both junglers, reading one another's minds. We could see a 3v3 kicking off. But Shen has been spotted. He came through Tribush, and there was a ward down there. So will Dedrin take his moment to strike? seems like both junglers are toing and froing. They're not too sure what to do here. Dedron's caught in two minds. He kind of wants to go down, but I think he's waiting for this creep wave to die so we can get into that bottom bush undetected and then come up with a twisted advance and try and cause a gank. But he's wasting a lot of his own time here that he could be using to gank other lanes or farm. This creep wave does not seem to be going down anytime soon. And I kind of feel it quite awkward watching this. Okay, he's decided finally, okay, screw it, I'm off back to my own jungle. I've wasted around too much time, I've waited around way too long. And yeah, let's just go take wolves instead.
You could kind of sense the frustration. It was just like, minion wave, it's dead, oh wait, there's another one. It's just, he didn't even get anything done. It was literally just, pretty much he could idle for 30 seconds and do more. It was just, yeah, nothing happening at all. And Shen will have level 6 fairly soon after these golems, in fact, and Mew at bottom.
Oh, and if it's going to go down, nice two-shot barrage, try to stave off the onslaught with a crescendo, but just delayed the inevitable there. And Shen tried to come down for the gank, but it was too little too late from his team's perspective. And yeah, just before, Dedron would have been really probably frustrated, and Candy Panda's like, this is awesome. I'm getting constant farm. I don't even have to move from my lane. They're just walking towards me. So, kind of two completely separate emotions at the same time. Meantime, at top lane, Prathana and Youngbuck are still just smashing each other over the head. But Youngbuck with very little mana can't do too much in this position actually. Prathana with more than half mana is going to continue to spam that Righteous Fury. How's the CS looking? You've got Malphite on 71 and Kale on 68, so very, very close, but Kale has 2 for 0. So overall, more gold.
Youngbuck is farming exceptionally well considering how far Kale is ahead of him. And I don't really feel that Youngbuck is capitalizing on that well enough. I mean, Malphite is Malphite, he has a lot of armor, but even so, I suppose he's got his chain vest now, I guess, but it's not as much as you would expect from a lane bully like Kale.
True. As you said before, though, you know, and then he said Malphite. Malphite, in fact, hold on, I thought for a second, no, don't, Nymph flashed up red, but she's going to be fine. Malphite is somewhat of an anti-AD, so he should be able to soak up a lot of that damage that Kale is throwing out regardless. So he's doing a nice job of keeping himself in contention. And the good thing about SK's lineup is if they can get to this kind of mid-game and utilize those ultimates, even if they're 10 kills behind, they can still pull this one back. We have a lot of harassment at bot lane in amongst me talking. And the end result is that Nif and Kevin managed to push Candy Panda and Dax back to their spawn. And lots of players are on low HP. Bullet Time comes out from his fortune, trying to harass, more than likely trying to pick up that creep farm as well. In the meantime, Dedron is pulling his way down towards bot lane. Is he going to have more luck this time around than last time? Doesn't look like.
He hasn't got any mana either. What's he trying to do? No, he's going to back off again. Cool. So, yeah, very interestingly, you said that the triple downs was interesting because you don't usually start on AD carries, and the reason I assume Misfortune has done that, Kevin, would be because they're so far behind right now and he needs to scale into mid-game where they have all those AoE ultimates. He needs that early game potential, and that's exactly what he's looking for right now. And hopefully that will do wonders for him, and right now he's kind of winning the lane and not winning, well, not completely winning the lane, but he's staying in it to the point where he's not being completely shut down. And right now that's what they need. They need all their players not to be shut down so they can at least utilize that base damage in that team comp.
So do you think it's a case that, you know, Kevin's thinking, okay, we're quite a long distance behind right now. I need to just make sure that my lane doesn't go out of control and I stay in contention.
Exactly.
Do you think that's why? Yeah, I kind of go along with that as well. I think, as I said before, even if there's 0-10, even if there's 0-20 down, as long as they're fairly close on levels and gold, then they can still bring that one back because of all the AoE CCs that they possess right now. Having said that, Youngbuck could be finding himself in the recipient end of some CC, courtesy of Moma. There is no ward down in this bush, so he doesn't have much of an idea of what's about to greet him. Here comes Moma from the shadows, pops up the black shield, lots of damage being put on. In the meantime, Shen is going to pop off his ultimate, taunts away instantaneously, but doesn't manage to land either of the players. Either way, the shield was enough to keep Youngbuck alive, so job done from Svenskeren's point of view, and now puts himself in close contention at the top lane as well, to maybe push back. But there is a ward around there, so they know where Shen is right now.
I think he's just going to go ahead and back up because he had both disappeared, and Momo's just going to decide that he's going to lane top now. It's fine. Jungler will lane mid. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. What are you doing? I think they're just trying to push top, but Shen's there as well. Really have pushing capability and Siege, meanwhile bottom.
Bottom, Candy Panda is now safe behind the tower. That's one of the great things about Israel. He kind of has a double flash in the sense that he has the Summoner spell, but he also has Arcane Shift, which allows him to get out of dodge very, very quickly indeed, which could, further down the line, be the difference between him getting caught in that flurry of AoEs and just narrowly escaping it. Bullet Time comes in there from his fortune instantly. As I said, Arcane Shift was used to flash to the backside of Bullet Time and alleviate as much damage, negate as much damage as possible. So let's have a quick look at some of the items that are being built up. You've got Needlessly Large Rod on Morgana. On the flip side, Abyssal Scepter and Chalice of Harmony have been finished on Galio. He just literally, as I mentioned him, in fact, here we go at bot lane, Kevin against Candy Panda. Candy Panda being forced to use the Arcane Shift once again to get out of the way. And Soraka quickly healing him back up once again. Lots of damage being exchanged between these two duos at bot. But yeah, Abyssal Scepter just finished off on Galio. With his ultimate Idol of Durand, that's a lot of damage early game.
Yeah, and all the damage on Candy Panda, he needs to be very careful.
Yeah.
Because he bursts down instantly. So we keep talking about this team fight and what's going to happen, and I feel like it's going to happen very soon because it's 50 minutes into the game. Very late for a Drake attempt, in fact. And I feel that's going to happen very, very soon. But I feel that Mouse is just trying to stall it because they know they're not going to win in a straight-up team fight with them. And even though they're so far ahead, they know this, and it's very clever of them to try and stall it. But meanwhile, mid...
Prothana has been caught out, Black Shield instantly used. Is Ocelot going to go for Idol of Durand? Doesn't look. Oh, he has just gone for it. Just catches Prothana. Lots of damage, but instantly pops up her own ultimate. Here comes the Soul Shackles from Morgana. So much damage. Shen does go down. Young Buck's been stunned. Here comes Candy Panda from the side, trying to position himself for a kill. But Dedron's actually going to be picking that one up, and Ocelot pulls himself back. So it is a 0-for-7 scoreline right now. And that gank really, really backfiring on SK Gaming. Plus the fact that the Idol of Durand is off cooldown, the Unstoppable Force is no longer on the battlefield because Malphite's dead for 20 seconds. This is a free Drake. That could not have gone worse for SK.
That is exactly what Mouse were looking for. They were trying to stall the team fight as long as possible and carry on getting picks, but now they've just taken Drake and they've removed the opportunity to go for a team fight from SK, and that's exactly what they want. As long as they can stall the team fights as long as possible, they're going to win, and that's just how it's going to roll. And SK just can't force the team fight because they can't get one up on them. And now Nif.
Oh my god. Crescendo's been popped just to save his own life. There's the Arcane Shift through the wall, and Candy Panda picks up the kill. So Nif is just getting caught time and time again. This time in Tribush. In the second game, it was around Wraith Camp to give first blood to Prothana. Moma actually is being chased by Shen. I nearly said a Mumu there. I have no idea why I got them two mixed up. My apologies to Moma. But yeah, either way, you just have to say that Mouse are in such a strong position right now. I can't see them throwing it away from here. They're 17 minutes through the game. There is a 5k goal difference already, 8-0 overall, and it's just looking extremely strong. Going back to that decision before though, Idol of Durand from Ocelot was used just on Kayle. Kayle had her ultimate up. Also, factor into the account as well that at the time, SK had literally no visibility whatsoever on the map. And look at that burst damage. There was a ward down. And Galio alongside Malphite both going to completely cripple Moma. So that's the first score on the tally, courtesy of SK Gaming. But as I was saying before, when they went in for that engage on mid, they had no ward coverage over the river. So they had no idea what was going on from Mouse. And it just so happened that Mouse, in the meantime, were pushing up towards mid. Top lane, Prothana could be going down. Shen comes out with the ultimate and the taunt as well. Flashing on with the red buff. Prothana does not have the movement speed to escape from this situation and does have the ultimate, but is it going to be enough to save her life? I don't think so. Oh my god, look at the damage she's actually putting back up. She gets the kill onto Shen.
Oh
and
my
I am
god.
utterly amazed how that happened.
Meanwhile, bottom, Mechanic going straight onto Kevin will pick up the kill. Dedron coming up from the side as well. Nif looking for the dive on this one. Doesn't even have to do it. Won't get the assist. You know, it's fine. I came down here, wasted my time. Least you could do is let me tag her, you know? It's a free kill, man. Seriously. This is the second time Candy Pan's kind of douched over Dedron. And I'm sure it's not like that, but it's what it seems like as a caster.
Douched over Dedron. That's an interesting way of putting it, dude.
Yeah, man.
it's very apt, though. It is definitely. The thing about top lane, I was amazed that Kale managed to pick up a kill, but there was a couple seconds there where Svenskeren seemed caught in two minds. He was going backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. I think he was trying to change the tower aggro away from himself. Malphite is coming under heavy attack at top lane. He will be going down from MoMA. And I have to feel that the curtain is beginning to come down here, Pulse. I want to keep optimistic, but 12-2 down, this kind of one-sided, I can't see how Mouse can throw this game.
SK, I feel, still have the teamfight potential, but they keep getting picked. Pick at bottom, pick at top, and teamfight in mid.
A 4 versus 2 team fight in mid. Svenskeren's going to go down. Bullet Time trying its best to alleviate some of that pressure. Dedrion fairly close to falling himself, but again, as you were saying, hit the nail on the head, they keep getting picked. As good as this AoE comp is, if you cannot get the AoE down, what's the point?
Yeah, one of the big weaknesses with an AoE comp is if one of you falls, then you lose a massive amount of power. And that's exactly what's happening. They can't go for a team fight because they keep getting picked. And Dax could be in a bad position now, though.
Oh, Crescendo does land, but instantly Kale comes in with the intervention, with the ultimate, and Galio goes back onto Soraka, but oh dear me. Youngbuck does miss his ultimate there from Dedron. Very quick reactions underneath the tower, is trying his best to survive, but only manages to do a bit of extra damage. Now Candy Panda's in all kinds of trouble. Max range ultimate from Galio lands the Idol of Durand, but Candy Panda is able to escape with the flash and the arcane shift. But we just saw a bit of a glimpse there, just a brief couple seconds at what was possible from SK Gaming. Here comes Candy Panda from the side, and Kevin now gets caught and gets taken down very, very quickly.
Yeah, they got some picks, but they're not a picking team, which was kind of good in that respect, but at the same time, they still lack the team fights, and they need the team fights, and as soon as it gets past the point in the game where they can't team fight and win 5 versus 5, they've lost, because their composition is... And if your composition cracks and burns and fails, then you've lost the game pretty much, because there's nothing else you can do, unless you can adapt your composition and do something else. But as a team fight comp like that, it's not looking good for them, basically. They need to go out for one team fight where they get 5 versus 5, and not try and do that, Svenska. So they just need a team fight, but Zorma doing a great job of stopping them from doing so, because they're just forcing objectives, stopping them the ability to go for those team fights, basically, and burning the enemy ultimates on picks. And even though Ocelot maybe could have gotten the kill there, they've wasted the ultimate, and therefore they can't team fight. So in that respect, even if Ezreal had fallen, that would have been good for Mouse.
Sure, I've got a couple questions here actually on my my X-Fire from people asking. If any action goes off, I will quickly jump into it. But they're asking, what does AoE and what does CC mean? Now, you realise as a caster sometimes you have to walk a tight line between professionals. In fact, hold that thought, here comes Soul Shackle and the Zhonya's Hourglass underneath the tower. Not enough damage, Bullet Time has been popped off as well. Shen uses his ultimate in amongst all that. Here comes a Twisted Advance from Dedrion on towards Youngbuck. Youngbuck should be going down, so much burst potential from Mousesports right here. And losing Malphite, who is a really tanky, difficult character to break down, is going to be a huge body blow for SK. Down goes the mid tower, and the damage has been done. Going back to what I was saying before, sometimes you walk a very tight line between casting to people who know much about League of Legends and people that don't. AoE means area of effect. It's basically area damage that goes around a radius between the characters. So for example, Malphite jumps in, he does a lot of AoE damage because he smashes into the opposition. CC means crowd control, it's taunts, it stuns, it silences, that kind of stuff. So I hope that helped you guys understand a bit more about what we're talking about here.
So the team fight could be...
Yeah, Kevin has gone down, now Svenskeren being forced to flash through the wall. Very, very low HP. I think Candy Pan is going to be able to catch up with him. Arcane Shift has about 5 seconds remaining on the cooldown, so perhaps not. Svenskeren more than likely is going to sacrifice himself. In the meantime, we have more action at the mid tower, and somehow Sona does survive. Surely Svenskeren is not going to be able to pull himself back. He will recall and somehow manage to live the fight for another day. In the meantime, Dax is going to go down from Malphite. Youngbuck, of course, does respawn after being caught previously in mid, and it goes to a 16-5 scoreline, but 4 towers to 0. So map dominance well and truly in the hands of Mousesports right now. And Drake is also up. Dedron's going to be taking it down with Candy Panda very quickly.
SK are getting some really awkward engages off, and that's really not helping their cause. Secondly, they're starting to lose the open area fights, so in mid, in kind of like the wider parts of the jungle. So they've lost that potential. As soon as they lose the potential to lose a team fight in the jungle, they've lost a game. Because there's two types of team fights. There's the open area, where inherently Miles are better because they have the range, but in a jungle, SK should have the upper hand because they're going to land all the AoE in a straight team fight. But at the moment, as I said, they're getting really, really janky engages off. So yeah, as soon as it gets to that point, it's pretty much GG, and we just have to wait until they go for that jungle engage.
Yeah, and the interesting thing for me is that one of the carries from Mouse, Ezreal, has 0 deaths. 6 kills, 0 deaths, 6 assists. So for all this talk about AoE CC, Ezreal has always been in prime position. He has never got caught off that kind of multitude, a plethora of damage and CC that's coming about here from SK Gaming. And that's really important to know, because Candy Panda, every single fight is off to the sides and he's just nuking everybody down. He has a Last Whisper and a Trinity Force after 25 minutes, alongside about 300 or so goals. So he is so strong. He also has, on top of that, Elixir of Fortitude. So it's going to be very difficult to actually take Candy Panda down. Of course, while he's still standing tall and proud, the amount of damage output that he can put out is crazy.
Yeah. And are they going to try and go Baron? Interesting, because Moment's bottom. But anyway, to add to that, they have Dedron, who is kind of like the soft counter to AoE comps like that, because his ultimate reduces all the damage in an area by 20%. So now that it's gotten to this stage where they're weak anyway, that's just going to put salt in the wind, basically. And it's just, everything points towards a loss to SK, unless they can pull an amazing play, like a Baron and an Ace, and another Ace, and then a push. It's like it's like when we saw Acer when they were so far behind and they pushed 2 towers, and then Hib, 2 towers, and Nexus in like 20 seconds.
Yeah, definitely, and you hit the nail on the head. You know, Maokai is such a good pick. The Vengeful Maelstrom, so good. He's also picked up an Aegis Legion to make his team even tankier, yet Shirelia's Reverie too, to get that quick movement speed burst, try and catch up with the enemy team, or of course, on the flip side, to escape from any sticky situations. So Maokai is such a good pick. Dedrion has shown twice already this evening how good he can play this jungler, this support jungler. And as we said previously in the cast, I believe it was a few days ago, support junglers are really in right now in League of Legends.
Yeah, definitely. And then you have a couple of exceptions, like Shen, and then Malphite, the other one. Maybe not Warwick, because he's just too slow in jungle, and that's what you're looking at right now, is ganking junglers, and that's what support junglers are. And Shen can also do it, and Nocturne is the exception because he fits in well with comps. And then Malphite has the strength at level 6 as well.
Yep, both teams starting to line up together. Just Kale is out of the fray at the moment. Prothana will be moving down towards. She could get caught out of position here from Bjornbach, and Svenskeren comes over the taunt, just missing. In fact, that may have landed. I'm not too sure. It didn't look like it hit to me. But either way, the team fight is going to kick off. Malphite goes in, lands it onto Candy Pan, and this is the first time Candy Pan has been caught. But Kel's going to use intervention instantly back onto him. So that just goes to show how strong this lineup is right now. 4 players have fallen, 2 from either side. Killing spree for Moma. More action onto Youngbuck. He's so tanky, but there's not much he can do. Double kill comes in from Moma. And that is going to be a 3 for 2 exchange. So that's the first time they've managed to pick up a kill onto Candy Panda and land more than one ultimate onto him. And it did work out well in their favour for a couple of seconds. But then the rest of the team, due to the fact they're so far ahead on gold, XP and items, managed to clean it up nicely. And they are going to pick up this second middle tower.
The issue right there was that Candy Panda, usually if you eliminate their AD carry, you've eliminated pretty much all of their sustained damage. But because everyone on their team's doing so well, and you have Prothana to pick up the pieces as a secondary AD carry, you really didn't eliminate too much. You eliminated Dax, yes, but he's not got a massive amount of team fight potential apart from his clutch sort of armor buff. But they still had a massive amount of damage, simply from Moma and Prothana up at top with Kale. It's a bad position, and that was near jungle. That was pretty much a jungle fight for them, and they didn't lose it massively, but they didn't win it. And I get the feeling that now they're out of it. That was kind of the turning point.
So you feel that was last chance salooners came and gone pretty much for Mousesports. Not for Mousesports, sorry, SK Gaming. Yeah, I would definitely go along with that. I mean, a lot of big items being built up right now for Mouse. You got Morgana with his Zoni's Hourglass, which you went for first. Rabadon's Death Cap on top of that, so much AP damage, 419 AP. On top of it, you got Kale with an Infinity Edge and a Phantom Dancer. It's crazy items being built up, and if you have a look on the opposite side, there's not a great deal to go by, actually. You got a Randuin's Omen on Malphite and a Rabadon's Deathcap on Galio, alongside an Infinity Edge there for Misfortune. Apart from that, it's looking pretty bare.
Yeah, it really is. I can only see maybe a Baron steal, but even then they're going to lose their jungler, and I still can't see them winning the team fight. They're just too far behind on every aspect. 5 towers, so 4 towers behind 10k and gold. Everyone on that team is weaker right now. Maybe if they all land all their ultimates on everyone, maybe that might do it. But even then, if Detron gets the ultimate out before and reduces the damage, they might actually be able to tank through it right now, and that's really super scary for SK.
Yeah, and I've also noticed that you do have a Negatron cloak on Ezreal. That can be built into a Quicksilver Sash. That's going to eliminate a lot of the CC potential that SK bring into it. Crescendo has just been used from Sona just to save Nif's life. And that's a good piece of news for Mouse. That's one of those big CCs, one of those big AoE type things coming in that have been eliminated from the problems. Fensiaren goes walkabout, and he does get caught out from the Twisted Advance. They're not going to be jumping on towards him, instead pulling themselves back. And I can't help but feel it's only a matter of time before we see a Baron fight kicking off here.
It's just, you know it's going to happen. It's going to happen any second right now. But the splitting up, SK is splitting up. I don't know if that's a good idea, considering they have a lot of single target damage and a lot of picking potential. Waiting for it to happen, though.
Yeah, we are going to have Baron started off from Mouse. All 5 players here. Young Buck, in the meantime, is more seemingly infatuated with those wolves, and in the meantime that's going to give Mouse an opportunity to pick up the Baron completely free. Bullet time was blocked as well. Svenskeren is in a really difficult position right now. Lots of AoEs going through, but the Vengeful Maelstrom is doing more than enough to negate any of that damage. Big ulti coming out from Galio, but doesn't burst anybody down. He's going to get dropped from Ezreal, who picks up his double kill. Can he get a triple onto Young Buck? Young Buck in hot pursuit, but that is going to be the triple coming out from Candy Panda. Beautiful play, beautiful protection as well, has to be said, from Mouse, making sure that AD carry was up throughout that, and the GGs are coming in as a surrender vote will go from SK Gaming, and Mouse come from behind. They were 1-0 down to take it 2-1. Awesome stuff.
Amazing comeback from Mouse. Incredible, absolutely incredible. Yeah, they just held the advantage all the way through the game. 3 kills at the start, and they snowballed it. It was just every single chance that they could go for a team fight, that being on SK's part, they took away from them. They just forcibly removed it, and then they couldn't follow up on it because they didn't have the team fight situation or potential. Straight up. There we go.
Edgeron has been a revelation. He's been awesome these set of 3 games. Even the first game when they lost, he was still really good. So I've got a couple announcements to make, guys. Well, obviously we do wait for game number 2 to start off. As I said before, you can win yourself some nice goodies if you head on over to chaostv.eu/prize draw. There are 5 CSGO keys up for grabs and a Steel Series Siberia V2. So go ahead over there, read the instructions on how you can actually claim those prizes. And important to note that while we wait for game number 2 to go, we'll be announcing our first winner of a CSGO beta key. So you want to stay tuned there to find out if you are the recipient of that award. In the meantime, while we have some downtime, you can also head on over to Facebook, follow facebook.com/championbase.net, or you can head on over to their website, it's championbase.com, to find out the schedule of the upcoming matches. We have another 3 best of 3s for you this evening. Lots and lots of action. Also, if you want to follow Pulse on Facebook, give him some love, give him some like. He's a new caster, and he really deserves some of your feedback and some of your plaudits. Where can they go ahead to follow you? Is it What's Your Pulse?
It is. It's facebook.com/what'syourpulse, exactly the same as my YouTube.
There you go. So go ahead and give him some love. If you want to follow me personally, it's facebook.com/MetasTV. Same for YouTube as well, MetasTV. And I think that's going to do for now, guys. We are just waiting for game number 2. I'll have a quick look and see what time that's scheduled to start for you. It is scheduled to start at 1900 Central European time. Now, I can only assume that's not correct because that was kind of 40 minutes ago from my understanding. So I'll have a speak on Skype and find out when the game is going to begin for you guys. And as soon as we know, we'll update you. So stay tuned. We'll see you very shortly. Oh. Okay, I just got informed from our producer that we have already received our invitations from Fnatic, so it should be good to go live in about 5 to 10 minutes, guys. So go ahead and go chill out, whatever it is that you want to do. Go get yourself a drink and rejoin us very shortly. We're going to cut to a quick music break. When you rejoin us, be live for Fnatic Raid Call versus Curse EU. That's going to be a pure awesome game. Don't go anywhere.
Oh god, oh god.